With the release of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, the franchise now has 3 movies that were released in theaters. As a result, I decided to rank all 3 films from worst to best. As stated in previous videos, my list isn't the correct list, it's just my list. Now, here's my ranking of all 3 films from worst to best. Coming in at number 3 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was a letdown from the first film. For instance, there's no main villain until the film's third act. This is when Ego reveals to Star-Lord his plans to create extensions of himself across the entire universe, and when the Guardians discover Ego's dead children from mating with other species. Due to this reveal, many people, such as myself, thought the Sovereign race would be the film's main villain. It threw everything off when they decided to make Ego the film's main villain instead. However, it was shocking when it was revealed he killed Quill's mother. Despite that, I enjoyed the film's direction in exploring Peter Quill's true parentage. Learning that Ego was Star-Lord's father was interesting, and I loved seeing them bond. Furthermore, I enjoyed seeing how Ego met and fell in love with Star-Lord's mother, Meredith Quill. Aside from learning Ego was Star-Lord's biological father, I loved the introduction of Mantis, and Baby Groot was phenomenal in the film. Whenever Baby Groot was on screen, he stole the show, especially during the scene where he steals back Yondu's fin from the Ravagers, and the scene where he places the bomb on Ego's brain after going over which button not to touch with Rocket. Because Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was a step down from the first film, it comes in last place. At number 2, I have the original Guardians movie, Guardians of the Galaxy 2014. I didn't know what to expect when I first heard about this movie, since I had no idea who the Guardians were. However, I was blown away when I saw this film in theaters. Like the first Avengers movie, Guardians of the Galaxy brought different characters consisting of Star-Lord, Gamora, Rocket Raccoon, Groot, and Drax the Destroyer together on the big screen. The action sequences were excellent, particularly the final battle on Xandar and a fight on Nowhere where Drax fights Ronan. Ronan the Accuser was a perfect main villain for the Guardians to go up against. He was a better main villain than Ego. However, he wasn't as good as he could have been since he was Thanos' puppet until his betrayal. Regardless, Lee Pace gave it his all in the role. All of the acting in this film is great, and I enjoyed the chemistry and the constant bickering between the characters, specifically the Guardians learning to work as a team. I like how Drax has a purpose in this movie, since he's primarily used for comedic purposes when appearing in other Marvel Cinematic Universe films. Aside from everything I already said, I love the film's visual effects and James Gunn's direction. Furthermore, this movie made me develop a crush on Zoe Saldana, the actress that plays Gamora. She and Angelina Jolie have been my celebrity crushes for a while now. I don't have Guardians of the Galaxy at number 1 since the emotional weight wasn't as significant as the film above it on this list. Nevertheless, the first Guardians film is phenomenal and deserves to come in at number 2. Coming in at number 1 is the franchise's most recent entry, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was an emotional roller coaster. I'm so glad they finally showed us Rocket's origin story and how he became who he is. Seeing Rocket, Lylla, and their other companions being experimented on like that was so sad to watch, and it can leave you in tears or feeling sad in one way or another. Also, I like how this film gives Drax and Mantis a purpose, since both were only used for comedic purposes for most of their MCU appearances. I felt like Volume 3 was the first film since the first Guardians movie where Drax actually had a purpose. For example, he knew the language of the genetically modified humanoid children and decided to remain on Nowhere with Nebula to raise the rescued children. The High Evolutionary was a ruthless villain. He was willing to do anything to accomplish his goals. He didn't care who got hurt and who got killed. All he wanted was to capture Rocket so he could finish experimenting on him. However, he wasn't as memorable of a villain as Ronan or even Ego. I remember him for what he did, but I tend to forget his name unless I look it up. Aside from the emotional weight, Drax and Mantis having an actual purpose, and the High Evolutionary being a ruthless villain, the film's action sequences were outstanding, particularly the final battle and the battle against the Sovereign Warrior Adam, where Rocket gets knocked unconscious. Also, the visual effects of the film were delightful to watch. Lastly, the ending is pretty satisfying, with Quill leaving the Guardians and reuniting with his maternal grandfather, Jason Quill. Rocket is made the new leader of the Guardians. Mantis goes on the journey of self-discovery, alternate Gamora reunites with the Ravagers, and Nebula and Drax remain on Nowhere to raise the rescued children. With everything I said, it's clear that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 deserves to come in at number 1.
Push down on it!
What?
Push it down!
I am pushing down on it.
Push the button! It looks like you're pushing the keyhole.
The what?
There's a button under the handle. Press that in!
Okay. Now what?
Open the fucking door!
That is a stupid design. And your instructions were very unclear.
There you have it, my ranking of all 3 Guardians of the Galaxy films, from worst to best. We can all agree that the 3 films have excellent soundtracks and are very humorous. I still can't believe the movies are done and over with. Feel free to leave your ranking of the Guardians movies in the comments section, and let me know which film of the trilogy is your favorite. Also, check out my other videos, and leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate all of you. Peace out.